You're right.
I'm not going way this time then.
I don't do that instead. Right. Hey! Welcome back to our Square Studios videocast with me, Paul Dalton.
And me, Tom Quayle.
It's 1 week later, we're still here in glorious Edinburgh. Been enjoying it. This week we're brought to you by Pressure Valve Events.
Which are in a playlist somewhere.
Yeah, and there'll be a link in the description to Facebook and we'll talk more about them later.
Yes.
Like I say, it's been a week and we seem to have a knack of bad timing because literally we did our first videocast in months of like me and you actually doing a videocast. I mean, I know you had the song predictions, and as soon as we stopped recording and started like editing and uploading or whatever, the big story broke about David Cameron.
Yeah, I think I pressed upload and we put on the news.
Yeah.
And it went bong, the Prime Minister has fucked a pig.
Yeah. It's a comedian's dream. It's a story that just can't write itself. For those who, for some reason, haven't kept up with the story or haven't heard of this story, basically it's been revealed, allegedly, that at his time at university, David Cameron, Prime Minister of England, in, I don't know if in an initiation ceremony or hazing the new guy or rite of passage or whatever, inserted his genitals into the mouth of a decapitated dead pig. And there's no more satire. Don't rob anybody at best. We're done with satire. We can't do anything else now once we've had this information. There was a picture years ago that they used on Mock the Week, of course, from one of these press junkets that the politicians like to do, of David Cameron on a farm holding a pig, and no one can keep a straight face. And the question was, what's happening in this picture? And it was David Cameron just holding a pig. And the jokes, it was just, if Frankie Boyle watches Mock the Week, he's got to be regretting stopping doing a comedy.
It's like, Frankie, come back for 1 week, please. The Prime Minister's been blown by a dead pig.
This is what we need you here for, Frankie.
No, that's fucking getting in.
You don't need to make anything up. It's all true. Well, it's all alleged. It's an actual story. It's not just someone making shit up off the head. This isn't the Mock the Week pet giraffe and bonobo chimps. This is a story that's in the news. I mean, I'm not sure if it was refuted or whatever. Basically,
apparently there's video footage.
Yeah, allegedly there's video footage as well. It's like, David Cameron's people and David Cameron haven't refuted the claims. They haven't confirmed them. They haven't said this has happened. But the basics are along the lines of, we're not going to dignify that with a response.
It's sort of like when you're out having a beer with your mates and one of them has seen you out on a date with a fat bird, and you're trying to find ways to explain that you haven't slept with her or have slept with her, but you can't say either way. That's what David Cameron's doing. He is guilty by not admitting it.
Yeah, exactly. No one's hearing a denial.
Yeah.
So we're not just going to take it as confirmation. It's such a bizarre story. It really is. I mean, I don't know what else we can do without just using other people's material with this story, but it's fucking bizarre. I mean, I was listening to a podcast last week, and right at the end, they brought it up as well. Well, actually, it was during the show they brought it up, and they mentioned David Cameron, a politician in the UK, and then by the end they realised, oh, it's the Prime Minister. Oh, okay. Because Americans don't know who's running our country. Yeah. They think the Queen does it, or Tony Blair.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So they realised, oh, okay. The Prime Minister got a blowjob from a pig.
Yeah, I think that explains why half of America currently still think that George Bush walks around hand in hand with a slightly goofy looking guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's America. Where do we start, especially in light of recent events?
Yeah, it's hard to say with what's wrong with America these days. Either the gun laws, their youth are insane, or their education system. One of them's to blame. Fix all three.
I mean, we don't want to make light of this subject, obviously, but we can't help it because it's happening way too often. And the people in America have got to realise it's only happening to them.
Yeah.
We don't have these mass shootings in England. We don't have them in Australia. We don't have them in Canada, for God's sake. If they do, it's a rare occurrence. It's not one every year. It's like the annual thing. I'm tempted to go down to Buc-ee's and put a bet on. Right, next year it's going to be in North Carolina. You know, which state it's going to be. I mean, I think it was Oregon this year.
I'm not sure.
It's on the west coast.
There was one last year and it was calls for tighter gun laws. They did nothing. This year there's another 13 people shot. And like 21 injured, I think it was. That was the count that was published today.
Yeah.
And you're like, seriously, America, think about it. Something needs to change.
Even just the slightest bit of gun control, but they're scared of the word gun control, especially the NRA nuts, the National Rifle Association, because it's their Second Amendment right. Second Amendment? I think so, yeah. They have the right to bear arms. They have the right, as citizens of that country, to have firearms. And it's like, well...
Keep thinking it right. The Isle of Man.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to possess a gun, but you must carry the gun and the ammunition separately.
Yeah, you can't have a loaded weapon.
You can't have a loaded weapon. That change may go some way to fix it.
Yeah, even just something like a background check. Something, in the last 20 years, has this person been diagnosed with depression or schizophrenia or bipolar disorder?
Or any sort of psychotic episode.
Yeah. Have they been prescribed medication for a mental disorder in their lifetime, or is their history of something? Because it really is ridiculous, because I mean, the Second Amendment thing is all about we have the right, and they're going to try and take our guns away, and it's like, well, which one? And I love the classic thing. The only thing that can stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Well, how about something that stop the bad guy getting the gun in the first place? Yeah. Michael Moore did a whole documentary about it. I think it was that Bowling for Columbine one. And you could go into a Walmart and buy a gun, like a rifle. No, I'm not talking about a handgun, I'm talking about a fucking rifle, 2 hands to hold the bloody thing. You could buy it at a Walmart. You can then turn around having legally purchased this rifle and hold up the store and get your money back and everything else. It's like Grand Theft Auto. In the Grand Theft Auto games, you can hire a prostitute, have sex with her, then kill her and get your money back from it. And people go mad about that and blah blah blah, and it's a ridiculous scenario. But that's the thing that's presented.
Yeah, and then you get American politicians turning around and saying video games are too violent and everything like, so are your fucking gun laws, you idiot!
Exactly. And you always get some lunatic who will go on a killing spree, or there was one guy who was arrested for sexually assaulting a couple of women, and they blamed Grand Theft Auto because he played Grand Theft Auto. First of all, just because he had Grand Theft Auto doesn't mean Grand Theft Auto is one of the biggest selling games out there. If you've got a video games console, odds are you've got Grand Theft Auto, and not everyone's out doing this. Second of all, there's no reference in any of the Grand Theft Auto games. And I'm not even talking about just the 3D ones from 3 onwards. Even like the original GTA, the top-down one, GTA, you know the one I mean, yeah. No reference whatsoever in sexual assault or rape or whatever that you're encouraged to do as a character. The closest I can think of coming is a random encounter in GTA 5. It's a random encounter, it's not a storyline or anything. You're driving along, it's a random encounter, and you see someone attacking a woman and you break it up.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're encouraging you to. You're discouraging. You're stopping a sexual attack on a woman. I can't remember if it's sexual or not, but it's a couple of guys and a woman. I'm fairly certain it's a sexual attack thing. And that's the closest to Grand Theft Auto games. But people who don't play the games, they think, oh, it's violent, it's sexual, it's all that, and they associate that with it. And it can be a kind of chicken and egg thing. It's like, are people violent because they play video games? Or do violent people play violent video games because it's like an outlet for them? But I'll get off the video game thing in a minute. But because it is an insanely popular game. People like one of these mass shootings. They play Call of Duty and they play Grand Theft Auto and they play Halo. It's like, yeah, they're very popular games. People do good. If someone does a good deed, you know, someone saves a woman from a burning building. You know, oh, he's a hero. He was inspired by his World of Warcraft character. That never comes up. You know, if people can do bad things based on video games, why can't it be the reverse side as well? Why can't people do good things by being inspired by a video game? You know, I mentioned Columbine. That was the big one. That was the one that set off all the strings of mass shootings.
Yeah.
And it was that's what got people to look at goths and emos, whatever, that kind of sideways view, because they don't know, are they going to be the next killers and all that lot. But The Onion made an article about a year after, you know what The Onion is? They're a satirical online thing, yeah. About a year after Columbine, the shooting, Columbine bullies safely resume their duties. And it's funny because it's the tragic truth of, for the couple of months after that mass shooting, it would have been the nicest time in the world for the kids at that school, because the bullies who were giving everyone shit weren't there anymore, so everyone who was getting bullied was free, and also everyone was scared to bully other people because it could happen, you know. And that's I mean that's one instance. That's Columbine.
Yeah. And strangely, that leads me on to my point about it. Does it also show a fundamental flaw in the American education system? I mean, what, 80% of these have been at what, colleges and schools?
Yeah.
There is an obvious lack, if anything, maybe a lack of training with staff to notice early signs of this sort of thing.
Mm.
Or
counsellors, that kind of thing.
Counsellors, like, and training for staff and sort of like, how are people walking into schools with a bloody gun? It's a simple case. We got told off at school for chewing gum.
Yeah.
How teachers can notice when you walk in with a packet of Wrigley's Extra in your pocket. How are American teachers not noticing a fucking gun?
I mean, it's alright for us to say, I mean, from the outside looking in, I mean, we're over a decade out of school, and we're in the British school system as opposed to the American school system. So maybe we're the least people that are qualified.
But is there an issue there?
But maybe we're the best qualified people, because we're offering that fresh perspective. We're not brought up, you know, pledging allegiance to the flag every morning, like they are in a lot of schools.
Yeah.
We're not brought up in that environment, so we can see what the problems. After the fact, you know, how many school shootings have we had, and it does come back to gun control, stricter laws. If you make it harder to get a gun, the shootings will go down. As strange as hard as that is to believe, if less people have guns, less people will get shot. And as people say, you know, America it's a big country. It's like a country of what, 300 odd million, 400 million people in there, and you can't do it. They've done it before. Not in America, in Australia. They had, and that's what I was looking up earlier. I'm reading to you now. Australia had a lot of shootings, and there was one that really set it off. The Port Arthur massacre in 1996. I'm reading from Wikipedia here.
So, usual Wikipedia things apply.
Yeah, but still.
So if he says cock.
Yeah. The Port Arthur massacre in 1996 transformed gun control legislation in Australia. 35 people were killed and 23 wounded when a man with a history of violent and erratic behaviour beginning in early childhood opened fire on shop owners and tourists with semi-automatic rifles. 6 weeks after the Dunblane massacre in Scotland, this mass killing at the notorious former convict prison at Port Arthur horrified the Australian public and had powerful political consequences. Blah, blah, blah. It goes on. Yeah, Prime Minister John Howard immediately took the gun law proposals developed from the report this committee and forced the states to adopt them under a National Firearms Act. It was necessary precaution, and it got approved. I'm just looking for when it actually came into effect. But yeah, basically it came. Yeah, it concluded on 30th of September 1997, so like in less than a year, it came into effect. And there's been minimal since. There's one here for 2002, and it's 2 students got killed.
Yeah, so that just proves it, really.
Exactly. 5 years later, 2 people got killed. Gun control is effective. Australia have proved it.
Yeah. And you know what I was saying about like the whole guns and bullets thing from the Isle of Man?
Mm.
What I want to know is, how is there not some way of knowing that somebody's walking, I mean, what was it, 13 killed, 21 injured, at least? How is someone walking around with at least 34 bullets without somebody knowing about it?
Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, how many bullets do you get in a standard clip? It's like 12 bullets per clip.
Mm.
So you're talking 3 clips.
Yeah.
If we've
He stopped and reloaded that gun.
Twice.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be able to happen. At all. On any level whatsoever. There are ways you can disguise it. I mean, that's why a lot of gangsters wear like the loose clothing so they can hide the gun and the clips and the magazines and everything else. But you shouldn't be able to stop shooting, change the clip, reload the gun, cock it, and open fire again without something being done about it. And you shouldn't be able to get hold of weapons in the first place, or it shouldn't be as easy to get hold of weapons in the first place. Being able to buy them at Walmart is fucking stupid.
Yeah. If anything, right, you've got all these rifle ranges in America where you can go and use your gun on somewhere that's designed for that doing it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a simple case of, yeah, if you've got a gun licence, I mean, yeah, people have got a gun licence over here for going shooting animals and stuff.
Yeah, they've got game licences.
They've got game licences, gamekeepers, things like that. Surely, it's, I say, a lot of gamekeepers actually keep it on the game, keep the gun on the game reserve. That's part of their stipulation.
They've got a cabin out there, yeah. They've got or a locker down there where they go.
A secure place. What it should be, they should bring in a similar thing. You're buying a rifle. That gun is registered to your local gun club, and they know every time you have that gun.
Yeah.
That way, there's a filter there. We're not saying ban guns completely. We're saying filter it.
Regulate it.
Regulate.
It's gun control, not gun abolishment.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. The president's not coming after your guns, you redneck fucktards. He wants to help people. You can still have your guns if you're a sane person. So decent people don't die. That is the thing. People are dying because you're so concerned that the government's going to come take your guns that people are getting killed. People without guns who don't want guns because these guns kill people. So what's the line? Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Well, the people that are killing people shouldn't have fucking guns.
Yeah, exactly. I think the gun helps.
Yeah. Because put it this way, if someone turned up with a feather duster, they aren't gonna kill 13 fucking people.
Even if they brought out a knife, even if it's a machete, if they come out like Jason fucking Voorhees with a machete, it's a lot easier to disarm them or get away from them. Because guess what? That's in their hand. It's not firing off mini knives at you. Someone pulls out a gun, you can run. There's still something coming faster than you towards you. They're called bullets. Chris Rock made a point in jest, but it's in semi-seriousness, in old Chris Rock fashion.
Yeah.
Fine, have your guns, but bullets should be $5,000 each.
Yeah.
That way...
That's what I'm saying, regulate the amount of bullets you have.
There'd be no innocent bystanders. Like, shit, he must have done something wrong, he put 15 grand's worth of bullets into him.
Yeah.
You know? It's something, I mean, yeah, we were kind of making a joke there, but it's a serious point. Something needs to be done. We're not the people that to discuss it, we're not politicians, we're not Americans. But we know there's a problem. The world knows there's a problem. America knows there's a problem. So fix it. And I tell you who's not going to fix it, the #1 Republican candidate for the presidency, Donald fucking Trump. We thought our Prime Minister was bad getting blown by a pig. This fucking idiot.
This fuck nugget, the love child of Claire Balding and Boris Johnson.
My God. The one guy who turns up in a wrestling ring and gets more booze than Vince McMahon, and he's supposed to be the babyface when he turns up. Oh dear Lord.
This is a guy who ran an airline into the ground. He basically set up an airline and fucked it up.
Yeah.
His name is a euphemism for a fart, for fuck's sake.
He's gone bankrupt 4 times.
Yeah. Put it this way, you want this guy near the button? Really? You think Putin bombing the wrong people in Syria is a fucking problem? This guy's worse than Putin! I'll put that out there!
I mean, I'll say this, he's not going to become the president. I know he's not going to become the president because running for the Liberals is Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
She's going to win. basically, she'd have got in last time if Barack Obama wasn't. It was
Black.
It was a choice of I say last time when Obama first ran.
That's it. If Obama, if Obama, I know this may sound slightly racist, but I don't intend it to. Because props to America for electing their first black president, something America's done right.
Yeah.
We've bashed America for a bit. We'll give them props for something.
Yeah.
But the reason Hillary didn't become the first female president last time is because Obama was black.
I think
that may have had a little bit to do with it.
I think it was a case of when Obama first got in, everyone was so sick of the Republicans. We had 2 terms of George Bush.
Kaboom!
Yeah, we had 8 years of George Bush. So whoever the Liberals put up, whoever the Democrats put up, was getting in, and it got down to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and they went with Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Which fair enough. So before this decided, we knew coming into this election, we're either going to have the first black president or the first woman president coming out of this election, going into it.
Yeah.
Which and whoever went forward was going to win. It was Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And
it's the fact
in the last election, he's done well. We're happy with him. We've got Osama bin Laden. Big success there. We had 8 years of George Bush. He couldn't do it. We've had what was it, a year of Barack Obama, 2 years of Barack Obama, and he got him. So now Barack Obama has to step down because that's the law in America. You can only have 2 terms as the leader, which I quite like actually.
Yeah. Here's an interesting point. Barack Obama's got to step down this time. In your last 3 weeks, Barack, please do us all a favour. Change the gun laws.
That's one of the backwards problems of America with changing laws. The way the US system votes, they'll vote for the government and they'll vote for the Congress. Vote for Congress, and usually the party that's in the White House isn't the majority party in Congress. So when Bush for the Republicans was in the White House, it was a majority Democrat House of Republicans, and now we've got a Democrat in Obama in the White House. It's majority Republican in the House of Congress, and the Republicans are. How can I put this? I don't want to be bashing. I really don't.
Do you want to sum it up?
They're stubborn.
Yeah.
They're traditional.
Do you want me to sum it up in 2 words? Donald Trump.
No, Donald Trump's an extreme. Donald Trump is an extreme.
He's an extreme version of what they all are.
But it's traditional values. That's what they tout. And so they have the gun thing, the Second Amendment. That's not going anywhere. So Barack Obama can suggest it. The Republicans aren't going to go with it. That's why Obamacare was such a big failure, because it was contested the entire way. He wanted universal health care, like most of the rest of the world does. We've got the NHS over here, and Australia's got it, and it's working pretty much everywhere it is. It's working. So Barack Obama wanted to bring it into the United States, so everyone wasn't responsible for their own health insurance, and great idea. Republicans didn't want it. And that's why it was such a failure to begin with, because the Republicans just stopped it every step of the way. So they're not going to appeal any gun laws or make any changes to them because they don't want to be seen to agree with the Democrats. The Democrats, it's liberal Democrat, like we have over here. We've only got about 4 of them. Yeah, I mean, it's not in the same vein, but
their party conference was around the table in the Witherspoons.
Yeah, but it's that same mentality. They want what's best for the country and the people therein. If the Republicans have a good idea, the Democrats will say, yeah, we'll back you. No problem. That sounds like a fantastic plan. The Democrats will have a good idea, the Republicans will go, nope.
Basically, they are bordering on chauvinistic.
No, chauvinistic is more a gender thing. Chauvinistic is that.
As in, like, they're that sort of, like, chauvinist pig, like, our way or no way sort of thing.
And again, you're misusing the word chauvinistic, but I know where you're coming from. They're basically about 30 years behind the times. Essentially, at least the ones that are in Congress, the House of Representatives. This is the party that Linda McMahon was running for as well. By the way, she was going to be in the House of Representatives for Connecticut for the Republican Party. That says it all. Vince McMahon and Donald Trump are Republicans.
Yeah.
And then The Rock's a liberal.
Yeah. We need a Brit. There's an interesting T-shirt. Do the world a favour, punch a Republican.
Punch a Republican.
Because that's the. Does it pull up a problem we do seem to have worldwide? We like the new Labour leader we've got here.
Mm-hmm.
Are politicians too old?
But it's a catch-22. They kind of have to have that experience behind before they can get voted, because they'll need some kind of respect and authority on a matter. So they kind of have to be older. But they've built that experience and reputation on particular platforms that they believed in, but the times have changed around them. So while they might have forward-thinking ideas on the economy, as an example, they've got outdated notions on the idea of marriage, being a good example.
Yeah.
It was mostly the red states, the Republicans, who were against the idea of gay marriage, the marriage equality.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked last time about the Kim Davis debacle, and like I said, it's mostly red states. Blue states, the liberal states, you want to get married? Great, fair play, go for it. Gay marriage, lesbian marriage, bisexual marriage, whatever, get married. You want to get married? Go for it.
Yeah.
And the red states are against it. That's what I mean about kind of being like 20 years behind the times and kind of stuck in the ways.
Yeah. Because if anything, the liberal approach seems to be the better approach in America, because it's a simple case of politics, and an electoral system is about people having a choice. And like bringing up the gay marriages, everything like then people want to choose personally to get marriage and to go into marriage. Let them.
Yeah.
It's a personal choice that affects nobody else. Why should there be a law against it?
Exactly. That's always been the point of view. And then some softer Republicans, shall we say, not as right wing, the states, I should say, not the actual people, made the thing of what did we call them over here? What did we call them? The commitment ceremony type.
Yeah.
You know the one I mean.
Civil partnership.
That's the fella. Civil partnership. Yeah. Is that basically you have the same rights as a married couple, as a man and a woman married couple, male and female, but you won't technically be recognised as married. You're in a civil partnership, civil union, and that pleased no one because the not the gay bashing of, I don't want to say that, but the ones who are for traditional values saying, oh, you're giving them the same rights as straight couples, and the gay couples were saying we've got the same rights but we don't have the same recognition. That we feel like you're demeaning us, you're talking down to us. It's kind of, by trying to please everybody, they please nobody.
Yeah.
So eventually, Barack Obama and Congress and the Supreme Court and whatever made the decision. All 50 states legal. Have fun. And then Kim Davis goes and says, "Well, I'm not doing it." So, well, you're going to jail because you're breaking the law because it's legal now. And it's she's not the only one. She's just the most high profile one.
And that's the frustrating thing about America, is they are around 15-20 years behind the rest of the world in doing everything political, like the developed world, shall we say.
Yeah, okay, I can go with that, yeah.
Because, like you said about the gun laws in Australia.
1996.
1996. It's 2015, America!
How many more shootings do we need to have before you do something about it? The gay marriage thing's been legal. It was legal in a lot of states for a while. Like California legalised it, but of course California can legalise it.
Yeah.
I think Vegas.
Another thing brings up about the gun laws in America. How many of your presidents have been shot in the past 100 years?
Well, there's two I can think of.
Two?
Well, three, because Ronald Reagan got shot but he didn't die.
Yeah. So there's been 3 assassination attempts that were somewhat successful on your president.
That we can think of. Obviously we're thinking Abe Lincoln, JFK and I remembered Ronald Reagan, but there might be more.
Yeah. But if you take the rest of the world, the rest of the developed world as a whole, there probably isn't that many across the rest of the developed world.
In the last 100 years, no. Because I mean, we've just had the 63rd anniversary, 63rd year of Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
So she's been there for 63 years before, and yes, if we go back to 1915, if we go back 100 years, I think Abe Lincoln was more than 100 years ago. Actually.
Aye. But you see my point.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's been like 47 presidents. 3 of them have been shot.
Yeah.
That's not a good statistic.
Your prisons basically have a 5% mortality rate. It's...
Yeah. When you think about it, there's been 40 something and 3 of them have been shot at. You're like, ooh. Not a good stat, really. You know, when was the last time we could think of our Prime Minister getting shot?
So if you take the...
Royal family getting shot?
If you take the rest of the Western world, the only assassination attempts that I can definitely think of mainstream-wise, bit of research, there's probably more, but the only mainstream ones I can think of is attempts to assassinate Adolf Hitler!
Yeah.
That proves a point.
The one that springs to mind as far as Britain is concerned, as far as, you know, killing the ruler, the monarch, the Prime Minister, whoever, we're talking about the gunpowder plot.
Yeah!
In the 1600s. 1600s?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the first one that springs to my mind. Something that's now essentially a legend. It really happened, but it's one of those things that it's almost... Hitler's almost there. Like there's people who don't believe Hitler really exists or the Titanic really happened. You know, it's one of these large and light. Like Hitler's like Darth Vader and the Joker, which is one of these classic go-to baddies of the Titanic and the Hindenburg and Apollo 13.
Then of course you've got the flip side of it is, did one of Adolf Hitler's U-boats sink the Titanic?
Yeah,
that was another conspiracy theory, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's been plenty of conspiracy theories. Yeah. But yeah, as far as killing one of our leaders, yeah, we'll go back to the gunpowder plot in the 1600s. People say that Princess Diana was assassinated. Again, another conspiracy theory. No, she was.
But technically, no. Princess Diana was not a leader of the country. That's the point. The president's a leader of the country. Princess Diana was never a leader of the country. Doesn't count anyway.
Even at the time, she wasn't even a princess anymore. She'd been divorced from the prince, so she was a woman of high stature, former princess. And it wasn't assassinated anyway. She was speeding in a tunnel and crashed. You know, she wasn't assassinated. She was no. You know, people say about Tupac and Biggie Smalls getting assassinated. They weren't assassinated. They were shot.
Yeah.
You know, because we had gun control, gangster rap.
So I mean, you wouldn't mind if someone in America used common sense and actually wiped out something and rid the world of a toxic blight. Donald Trump, Kanye West.
Yeah, oh god, Kanye West. Oh.
Why, put it this way, if 13 people are dying in a school massacre and 3 of your presidents have been shot, why has no one shot these fucking idiots?
Oh, we were watching that video earlier. Who put the video? No, it wasn't Mojo, was it?
Branson's,
yeah, the spin-off of Cinema Sins. Talking about everything wrong with Kanye West, and oh my god, how is he still a thing? How? I mean, after this past year's was the Radio 1 festival, and he said he's the biggest living rock star, like the greatest living rock star in the world. And I was like,
I've got 2 words to say to you, Mr. West. You think you're the biggest living rock star in the world? Bruce Dickinson!
Paul McCartney! First of all, play rock music if you're going to call yourself a rock star.
Listen, how many more can we think that can trump him? James Hetfield!
James Blunt!
But still.
I'd rather listen to James Blunt than Kanye.
Yeah.
You know, anyone who plays a musician, bigger rock star than Kanye West.
Even people who aren't exactly musicians.
But if you don't mean rock star in the sense of actual rock music, you just mean a musical act. All right, we're fair enough. We'll say biggest musical act in the world, best musical act in the world. Well, I've seen your live performances, and I've seen Linkin Park. They top you. They go all out. I've seen Iron Maiden. They go all out. They brought a tank on stage. I've seen Bowling for Soup. They brought Inflatable Sheep. They top you. Basically, Eminem. You're not even the biggest rap star. Eminem beats you. Danny O beats you. John Cena beats you. Everyone's seen the meme. And I've heard John Cena's album. I had John Cena's album. It's not bad. It's an alright rap album. I mean, I'm not a hardcore hip hop fan, obviously, but the album, it's alright. It's serviceable. You can understand the lyrics. There's good flow, good beat. The best parts of Kanye West songs are the samples.
Yeah.
like Gold Digger and Power, and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head, but the sampled bits, that's the best part of the song.
Put it this way, you want to listen to a Kanye West album, Twat Bag album, whatever. Take a bag of bolts, put them in the pocket of your jeans, and put that pair of jeans in the fucking washing machine. I guarantee you'll get better listening pleasure.
Yeah, it's true. Don't get me wrong, everyone's entitled to like what they want to like, and fair enough, if you like Kanye West, more power to you. Just explain to me why. Please, what is redeeming about him? His lyrics are boring and lazy. His beats, for the most part, uninspired. And the ones that are good are sampled. He's a blight. The Taylor Swift thing from 2009, and the other band from the MTV European Music Awards, getting up on stage and interrupting them. I mean, fair enough. I'm not. The MTV one, fair enough. He was nominated. He still shouldn't have done it, but at least he was running in competition. When he interrupted Taylor Swift, it was to defend Beyonce. He wasn't even to defend himself. It was like...
Get over it, Kanye. She's sucking Jay-Z's dick, not yours.
They're happily married and they're the golden couple of R&B. And
they've both got fucking talent. You haven't, you can't comment, you prick.
Beyonce's amazing, Jay-Z's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fair comment?
They are both brilliantly talented in the field.
Yeah, definitely. I don't own any Beyonce albums, I'm not going to say that, but I enjoy her songs, don't get me wrong. If I'm in the club and Single Ladies comes on, I'm singing around with the rest of them. You should have put a ring on it, damn right. I'm a single lady, I'll put my hands up, yeah. Fuck it. Good songs.
We're back to talking about the fact that you'd always be the wife no matter who you marry. That's 2 episodes in a row for that.
Yeah, Jay-Z, yeah, damn right, we're there, we're rapping out, and then we're going to the Chester Bennington part of it as well. His mashup with Linkin Park, I fucking enjoyed. For the most part, there's a couple of duds in there.
Yeah. And put it this way, that leads us nice on with via 99 Problems and everything to
our title sponsor this week, which is Pressure Valve Events. I've been privy to just a couple of these events. You introduced me to these. Again, this is an advertisement. Stipulate that right now. That way, we're legally covered. So I've been down to 3 of their events now. Open mic / acoustic / live music. Events that they've had all around Edinburgh, and details of where they can be found are on the Facebook page, and we'll link that in the description, or if you want you can just search Pressure Valve Events. Mr. Phil Ramsey does a fantastic job of promoting these events and bringing talent in, and we're very thankful for Phil for letting us go down and he's thankful for us for going down and filming it, and we're thankful for him for introducing to these people, because there's people that we want to work with in the future with the cross promotions.
And speaking of cross promotions, also if you're in the Edinburgh area, another ruthless plug. If you're in the Edinburgh area, October the 9th, AC Reid, followed by Irioyo, Irioyo stars of the Pressure Valve. Check out the video from the Ensign Unit to see what you're getting in for. October the 9th, Smash. It's a Friday night.
Starts at midnight.
So
technically Saturday morning.
Midnight till 3 AM, 3 hours of live music. R-Squared will be there.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's at the what's the name of the place?
Smash. On the Cowgate, Edinburgh.
Yes, just round the corner from the Hive and Banshee and all that good stuff.
And also, if you're looking for something to do previous that night, open up at the Tron, October the 9th, 7 PM, Edinburgh.
Yes, not the church.
Not the church, the pub.
Yeah. Okay, that's plug.
We've done some plugs. Should we have a break?
I think we shall. Maybe we should have put the adverts as the actual advert break.
Well, we can have a break anywhere and we'll find another funny picture.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Maybe the pig of the Prime Minister. I'm not sure.
In a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed our random picture this week. Going forward, we were discussing in the break, we'll be introducing some acts that we discover down at the pressure valve. So you'll be seeing some live music in our little breaks in between.
Yes.
So that going forward, it won't be just a static picture. You actually have some entertainment. I don't know if you actually sit and watch this, or it's just on in the background on your TV if you're playing it through your Xbox or whatever. But yeah, it won't just be 5 seconds of silence. Now, there was something I did want to bring up to you with celebrity death. Right, it's a heavy topic right over here. Right? Or specifically people.
That makes a change to my usual celebrity death match, but
maybe celebrity being the wrong word, but excuse me, people in the public eye. And what brought this to my mind is something that's been on my mind for a few weeks now. The guy Monty Ohm, have you heard me mention his name before?
a couple of times.
Yeah, he was a Rooster Teeth employee. He was the guy in charge of all the motion capture stuff. I showed you the red versus blue fight scene. He was the guy that did all that. He created Ruby, the anime-based show that Rooster Teeth do. And unfortunately, he died earlier this year. He went into hospital for basically a routine surgery. Had an allergic reaction to the anaesthetic, went into a coma, and passed away about a week later. And it was very sad. He was only a young guy, like 33, 32, something like that. So very young, very tragic. And for the first couple of weeks afterwards, you know, Monty would be in videos or mentioned in videos from Rooster Teeth, and people in the comments on YouTube and roosterteeth.com saying, you know, I miss Monty and all this lot. And fair play. It was a big thing. A few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago at this point, a Let's Play came out from Achievement Hunter in Grand Theft Auto, and it was a massive multiplayer thing. They were basically trying to get like 30 people in this game, so like the 6 people at Achievement Hunter and like 24 randoms, whoever's just playing Grand Theft Auto at this point, we're playing against them. And you know, you create your characters online, most people make it look like themselves. And Jack was looking through the characters, and he saw to one guy, and he went, Monty? And then Jeff's looking at us like, I swear to God, I looked at your screen, I thought the exact same thing. It looked like Monty. And you're fair enough, you know, the guy friends with him. And in the comments, I was watching on YouTube as opposed to achievementhunter.com, and somebody commented, I miss Monty. And it's made me think, you never met Monty. Can you miss someone who you've never met?
This is something that, like, I experienced like one side where a person going through that sort of thing, where a person's had. It was actually my brother when, like, I can't remember exactly which rally driver it was, but a rally driver had died anyway.
Colin McRae?
No, it was one of the more obscure ones, but it's a simple case of Matty had met him maybe once and he'd signed an autograph for him. But he's just sort of like, oh, it meant a lot to me, everything like that. And it's like me and my dad were away on tour at the time, and he's sort of like, oh well, he's sort of like asking us like, oh, the smoke alarm needs a new battery. Well, we're 300 miles away. Go and fix it.
Yeah.
And it got to the point of, like, I actually turned around and said, look, Matty, wake up and smell the fucking cheese. You know, look, you met this guy once. Yes, you liked what he did. Was he a close personal friend of you? No. It was a simple case that Matty's sensitive. But he needed that pep talk. I turned around and said, look, when you've stared a friend in the face and said to him, if you want to jump off there, come back this side and I'll kick you to death, or you've been to one of your best friend's funerals and carried his coffin, fair enough. But, put it this way, I don't fully get the whole idea of, like, certain people have committed suicide due to a certain celebrity or a certain public figure dying or whatever. Like, oh, it was a big part of my life and everything like that. It's just sort of like, I don't get that personally.
I'll bring back, because people still come in, I miss Eddie Guerrero from the wrestling world, and people still say I miss Owen Hart. You know, he died in 1999, Eddie Guerrero was 2005, Monty Ohm was earlier this year, a bit more recent. And it's like, you don't miss the person.
You miss their work.
Exactly, you miss the work they do. And I'll be honest, I don't miss Monty. It sounds harsh me saying this, but hear me out. I don't miss Monty Ohm. I think it's a tragedy that he died, especially the way he did. He was a young guy, very talented.
By all means, pass on your condolences, but don't act like you know the person personally.
And that's what I did.
That's my line.
I did once. I sent an email, a tweet, I should say, to Rooster Teeth, and I CC'd a few people. And the reason I don't miss Monty is Red vs Blues carried on. There was other people. By the time Monty died, there was other people doing the motion capture stuff. Monty was the first person to do it, but more people came in and worked on it. Red vs Blues carried on. Ruby's carrying on. If they're gonna when this season of Red vs Blue wraps up, I think it's just wrapped up now on roosterteeth.com. Then Ruby's starting up. That's going to be a bit different because that was Monty's child. That was Monty's baby. That was his creation, and Monty had a role in that, a small speaking role. So that'd be a little different. But the show's carried on. Other people have taken it on. Other animators, other actors have come in to do that job. Owen Hart passed away. Very sad, tragic accident. Eddie Guerrero passed away. Tragic, not accident, but tragic.
Yeah, I think with Owen, it was the shock that got people.
Yeah, it was the shock, and it was the way it happened.
By all means, the reaction to the shock of it, fair enough.
But to this day, for people still be saying, I miss Owen Hart.
Whereas, I think my approach is more, I wish we got to see Owen wrestle this person.
Yeah.
I suppose one brilliant one to bring up is Owen versus Eddie.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have loved to see that match.
Here's the thing, the first pay-per-view I ever saw was over the age of 99, where Owen Hart died. So I had no experience of Owen Hart other than playing video games. Even when me and Mark weren't watching wrestling, we had the video games. We had Warzone. At the time, it was Warzone was the one that was out. And we knew Owen Hart and Bret Hart from those games, and we knew who a couple of people were. And growing up and watching wrestling all this time and watching older stuff, thinking, I wish I'd started watching wrestling earlier, or I wish I didn't get a chance to appreciate how good Owen was until after the fact, because I wasn't watching. Same with Eddie Guerrero. I mean, he came to the WWF in 2000. He died in 2005. So I had 5 years essentially of watching Eddie Guerrero, and so I appreciated him. But I don't miss him. I miss the work.
Yeah.
I miss seeing him on TV, but I see that as selfish.
Yeah.
I don't get to see what you do anymore, and that makes me sad. That's a selfish way of looking at it. The people that get to miss Eddie Guerrero are Vicky and Chavo, and you could argue Ray as well.
Yeah.
People that get to miss Owen Hart are Brett and Bruce and the Hart family, Natty.
Yeah.
Tyson Kidd, you can throw in
the
there.
people who actually personally knew him,
and a bunch of guys on the roster.
Yeah.
You know, Foley can miss Owen Hart. You know, The Rock can miss Owen Hart. You know, Dean Malenko can miss Eddie Guerrero.
Whereas the fan base can sit there and go, "What a great worker! What if?"
Yeah, I'm glad.
That is the best way you can pay respect to it.
I'm glad I got to see him, and there's a whole back catalogue of stuff I can watch, especially on the WWE Network now when they've got all the ECW and WCW stuff as well. You're not just watching the WWF stuff. You know, and I think there might be some stuff from Japan on there as well. I'm not sure. Probably not actually now I think about it, but yeah, you've got the whole stuff to look for. People talk about Heath Ledger as well. People run about with this new Batman, not Batman v Superman, the Suicide Squad movie coming out, and throw the Joker in there. I was against having Joker in Suicide Squad, not because of Heath Ledger, but because Joker's not in the Suicide Squad in the comics. It's B/C level characters. It's Killer Croc, it's Harley Quinn, it's Deathstroke. It's one of those two. They're pretty much the same guy. So Joker is not in that. That was my objection having Joker in this movie. Other people say it as, oh, there'll never be a better Joker than Heath Ledger. It's like, the Joker is an iconic character. There's never been a bad portrayal of the Joker. Cesar Romero, fine.
Yes, but
Jack Nicholson, great. Heath Ledger, fantastic. Mark Hamill, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Because guess what? The Joker, it boils down to it. It's an evil clown.
Yeah. Maybe he brought a different interpretation of that character that you personally preferred. If you don't want to see another Joker or anything like that, fine. Everybody else will go to the cinema and see the movie with the new Joker in it. You go back and watch that.
Yeah.
That Joker.
You watch The Dark Knight with
welcome to
Heath
do
Ledger,
that.
and don't get me wrong, I love The Dark Knight. It's my second favourite movie. But the Joker, for as good as he played it, isn't a hard. It's an easy character to get right because there's so many in the comics.
It's one of those you can't get wrong. really.
Arguably, yeah, actually, because even through the comics, there's so many interpretations of the Joker. Because I mean, Cesar Romero, it was very cartoonish, but at the time, the Joker was very cartoonish in the comics. Heath Ledger was very grim and gritty, but there's plenty of versions of that, like the Brian Azzarello novel, and The Killing Joke, things like that.
The best way, I think,
Jack Nicholson was kind of halfway between the two, and there's plenty of versions of that. Mark Hamill, psychotic and a little bit cartoony, plenty of versions of that.
Yeah.
One of the best Joker stories written. I've got the collection of the greatest Joker stories ever, and one of the ones in there is based off the Batman cartoon. So basically, Mark Hamill's Joker.
Yeah. I think it comes down to like when the actors have gone back and done the research for that character, they've picked up the type of trait of the Joker they liked and portrayed that type of Joker.
Yeah.
It's basically down to the reason you got that Joker from Heath Ledger was that this was the type of Joker he enjoyed reading when he was researching the character.
Or even just what he enjoyed watching.
Yeah.
I mean, that laugh that Heath Ledger does, it's very Cesar Romero.
Yeah. It's all on personal preference.
Yeah.
And it may be a case of you have similar tastes to he had. Or how to you.
Because here's the thing. That's one of the great things and bad things about it. I mean, you say you can't get him wrong. Because as long as you play him as the bad guy, you've got the Joker. He's never the hero. He's always the villain. And it doesn't matter if you play him absolutely psychotic, schizophrenic, buffoonery. There's a version that matches that in the comics, that you can't get the Joker wrong. So it's an easy character to play in some regards. Don't get me wrong, you still need the acting chops to be able to pull off comic book dialogue, but for the most part, it's an easy character to do because there's so many versions of him. It's not like Richard III.
Oh dear, Richard III.
Yeah, you know, it's not one of these Shakespearean characters where there's only one interpretation. That's William Shakespeare's version. Other actors can play him, but this is the character in this play. He doesn't exist in any other play. You know,
it's like there isn't Richard III the play and then Richard III and the time he nobbled the Queen. There isn't like the little offshoots and stuff like that.
Richard III in Hawaii.
Yeah. If anything, that is the main strength of comic book movies, and maybe why we see so many sequels and everything, is there is that many different interpretations.
Yeah, I mean, there are characters that have been pretty much one way all the way through. Iron Man's a good example.
Yeah.
He's always been the brilliant mind, billionaire, playboy, drinker.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Me.
In some iterations, especially in the 70s and 80s, the drinking was really hyped up, and one of the best story arcs we ever got in comics was Demon in a Bottle. And his alcoholism became a real problem. And Robert Downey Jr. plays it. I mean, he's always got a drink in his hand in the Iron Man movie. Not so much in the Avengers, but he's offering Loki a drink in the Avengers movie.
I mean, and again with the Iron Man character, there is a load of different ways you can play that. You can play it as when he's not in the suit, he's a drunk. You can play it as he's the smug millionaire, and then you have that. And if anything, the version of it in the version of it you were just on about, like his name went full.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. His version of it is I like that version of it. I like that character.
Yeah, he does a really good job of capturing it. He looks like Tony Stark, which also helps. Batman hasn't always been the dark, brooding guy. He was a jovial character. Where do you think the 66 series with Adam West came from? Because the comics were so much more light-hearted. Everything was more light-hearted in the Batman comics. Batman, Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Robin, they were all more light-hearted. Basically, the Batman comics went darker because of, you could argue, the Dark Knight Returns, the graphic novel, which is kind of what this Batman v Superman movie is based off of. But the '89 Tim Burton Batman movie, because we'd had, for years, Batman was light and jovial. Jason Todd got a little darker. Jason Todd. I don't think he died at that point.
I can recognise names, but can never match the names to the films. Is my issue.
Jason Todd hasn't been in the movie. he was the second Robin.
Yeah.
And he got killed off. Joker stuffed his head in with a lead pipe. But I think Jason Todd was still Robin in the comics, and there was some theories semi-serious moments where he was just trying to prove I'm not Dick Grayson. You know, stop treating me like Dick Grayson and my own person. But that was about it. You know, the '89 Batman movie came out, and that was basically the formula. I was like, okay, people like this dark Batman, and the comics went that way, and the movies went that way. And then you've got Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, which went more to the '60s version. Then we've got Batman Begins, and we went back to darker, and the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. If anything, it shows the reason you've had something like we're saying about, like, because there is different offshoots in the comics and things like that. It also, like, you've got directors' different interpretations of it. It is a simple case of I could sit there and read a book or a comic, and then you could sit there and read the same comic. If we wrote rewrote a page of dialogue without looking back at that comic, we would write something completely different.
Could we both take something different away?
Because we take different things away from it. And if anything, that's maybe why we've had so many different superhero movies and so many different interpretations, but none of them are wrong.
Yeah.
It may not be your personal flavour on it, but they're all right in their own way.
With the exception of Two-Face in Batman Forever. Because in Batman Forever, he was just played up like a bumbling buffoon knockoff version of the Joker, and Two-Face has never been portrayed like that.
No, if anything,
that's the only exception.
Yeah.
But Tommy Lee Jones is fantastic in that movie. He's having fun with that film.
Yeah.
But so even if it's not Two-Face from the comics and the Two-Face how Two-Face is supposed to be, it's still enjoyable to watch.
Because the actor's enjoying how he's doing it.
And that comes across. Jim Carrey is the Riddler. Riddler can be serious, Riddler can be a goofball. There's plenty of versions of it, and Jim Carrey as the Riddler captured that fantastically.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, it's hard to get a comic book thing wrong. The problem is, especially with comic book movies, well, it's a brand split thing. DC saw the success, DC and Warner Brothers, more so Warner Brothers, because they own them, saw the success of the '89 Batman movie and figured that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And every superhero movie that DC's brought out has been dark, with the exception of Forever and Batman and Robin. And there's a reason because of that. Batman was amazing, a big smash hit. So Warner Brothers said, Burton, you've got the sequel, you've got Batman Returns, we'll take the handcuffs off. You know what you're doing? Boom. And they got a lot of complaints because there was some imagery in there that scared the shit out of kids. So next time round, they brought in Joel Schumacher as the actual director, and Tim Burton was more of an executive director, executive producer, and said, okay. And they made the Batman film like Warner Brothers wanted.
They put a filter on them.
Yeah, but then Batman Forever got, it's so much better than Batman Returns, it's a lot more light-hearted, it's not nearly as serious. Took the handcuffs off him, and they burnt them again because he went full 60s with it, and then fuck it, we're staying dark, and that's where the Dark Knight trilogy came from. But also we've got Superman Returns in there. Superman's not a dark character.
No.
We've got the Green Lantern, while not completely dark, wasn't a light-hearted thing. It's a guy flying around with a magic ring. That's light-hearted. I'm sorry. Green Lantern. That's one of the big things about the Green Lantern movie.
Just put it this way: if it's a guy wandering, if it's a 3-foot guy wandering around with a ring, that's allowed to be dark.
Yeah.
Because he's a foolish little hobbit.
Yes. and then of course we've got Man of Steel, the newest Superman movie, and it's like, again, you're making Superman, and I enjoyed Man of Steel. Man of Steel was the one that split comic book fans down the middle. Either they loved it or hated it. There was no middle ground. And I enjoyed Man of Steel. I thought it was a great film. A nice interpretation of the Superman mythos and the character. I can understand why people didn't like it. But that's the thing that DC want to do, is make it dark. Why Batman worked as a dark film was A, Burton's direction, but B, that was the mentality of people by people at large in that time frame. This is the era where Nirvana and Pearl Jam and the grunge movement came about. People were angsty. People were fed up. We just got past the 80s and the stock market bullshit, and we're in the 90s where we'd had enough of all the corruption from Wall Street and the politicians, and now we had Clinton in charge, sexing his way through anything. People were just miserable by and large. So Batman being darker worked. But Marvel are taking the approach of it's a summer blockbuster movie. It's a comic book thing. Let's have fun with it. So Iron Man was a smash hit. Dark Knight was a smash hit, but for different reasons. And I'd argue in no small part to the death of Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, great movie, but Heath Ledger
It's like we said with Fast and the Furious 7. That wouldn't have grossed as high as it had if Paul Walker hadn't died.
Exactly, and I feel the same about Heath Ledger. And like all the Marvel movies are more light-hearted. They've got some serious moments. I mean, Winter Soldier gets a bit darker, the second Captain America movie, but for the most part, it's a fun superhero romp. And now DC's trying to play a catch-up with it. It's like, dude, you've had so long. You were ruling the roost. The Marvel movies were guaranteed to be shit until the X-Men came out. You could argue Spider-Man. X-Men was alright. X2 was pretty damn good. Spider-Man came out in 2002, but they were Marvel coming. Marvel was like Fox and Sony and whatever else.
Yeah.
Marvel in charge of their movies started in 2008 with Iron Man. DC have been owned by Warner Brothers for a long time. So Warner Brothers and DC have always been in charge of the DC properties. They've had such a head start on Marvel. So how were they playing catch up? 2008 was Marvel's first movie.
Yeah. I think
when would Superman come out? 75, 77, something like that.
Yeah.
In the mid 70s, Superman came out. How are you playing? You went from the 70s with Superman, the biggest name in all of comic books, to playing catch up to Iron Man.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. And the thing is, I can sit down. I mean, I don't read comic books. I'm not a comic book fan. Recently, I'll hold my hands up and say, "Holy fuck, Deadpool's brilliant." That's Jesse's fault. Jess got me to read a couple of pages of Deadpool, and I've got to admit it, I need more. I want to have a look at more. And that's because the trailer for the movie looks so cool.
Exactly.
But I think the point I think we're trying to make, your opinion on it might be slightly different, is I'm an outsider, I don't read the comics, but I can appreciate the comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Avengers.
Yeah.
I loved Iron Man.
Yeah.
The couple of Batman movies, I can never remember which ones they are exactly.
Okay.
Because I say I'm not the biggest comic book fan, I'm not sure on the chronological order because I don't keep track of that sort of thing.
Can you remember who the villain was? I'll tell you what the movie was.
Joker. See? But
Jack Nicholson or Ledger.
Ledger.
Dark Knight.
Yeah, I can never remember which film's which.
Right.
As I say, don't hold it against me, I'm not a comic book reader, but I can sit there and I can enjoy their movies. And I don't hold the pretense of the comic against the movie. And maybe the point we're trying to make is, by all means have your personal opinion, but enjoy that as somebody else's interpretation of something you've interpreted.
Yeah.
Don't bash it because it's not your interpretation.
Yeah. Yeah, I can appreciate that. I mean,
Because I mean, you were trying to work out what my issue was with Nostalgia Critic. That's my issue with Nostalgia Critic. Is don't ram your opinion down people's throat. I mean, yeah, we have a pop at businesses when they provide bad service. But if someone's interpreted something, don't bash the way they've interpreted it. Go make your own version.
my thing with the Nostalgia Critic.
Was it right in what you were trying to get over with the comic book thing and the different interpretations?
Kind of. I mean, it's a debate that's probably never going to go away about, the book's so much better or all this. I mean, you
could go into Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Harry Potter and all that
we had it
as
all
well.
through the Harry Potter stuff. There's some... Order of the Phoenix, the 5th Harry Potter, I think is my least favourite book, but it's one of my favourite movies. In that series, I mean of all time. And the reason is, in that book, Harry is unlikable.
Yeah.
He's written in such a way where you just think, you're a smarmy little prick. In the movie, they've done it in such a way where it's comedic. There's a good line about there's a lass who's trying to. They're in the library. I think you might have seen the clip on fucking CinemaSins or something. So she tried to slip you the love potion. Really? It's like, Harry, she only wants you because she thinks you're the chosen one. I am the chosen one. And she like smacks him and ow, right, sorry, joke. And it's like, it's played for a joke in the movie. In the book, he's kind of like that, but he's serious. He thinks he is hot shit. He fought Voldemort. You know, Cedric Diggory got killed. He fought Voldemort and got back to Hogwarts. And he's the boy who lived, and he's believing his own hype. He turns into Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie,
he's more Chris Jericho.
Well, I was going to say he's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
He's the other side. You know. But he's still got some humility.
Maybe we get wrestling in here somewhere.
But he's still got some humility to him. And so it is all interpretation. How did we get onto this? Oh, we were talking about
interpretations of the comic book movies, and then we mentioned like interpretations of book films the same way.
Right,
That's how we got onto this.
Fair enough.
It's been quite an intelligent conversation, really.
For us, anyway.
Yes.
I'm not sure what the audience might.
Right, we brought that loud level now.
They don't know what they're talking about. They're not real Harry Potter fans. They don't read comic books.
But if anything, coming on it from the outside, 'cause I mean, you're a comic book fan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't read comic books. We can provide that balance.
Yeah.
To it. As I say, my opinion on the outside is I enjoyed that movie just on the simple fact of going to see a film. I want to be entertained for 2 hours. It entertained me.
Yeah.
And I was happy with it. If I went in and saw a movie and thought that was god awful, I was like, maybe I didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's like you've never watched the Fast and the Furious stuff, whereas I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
That's what makes this work. We have a differing approach to stuff.
I'll ask you this. I mean, you mentioned Deadpool, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Watching Iron Man or the Avengers, were you more intrigued by the characters?
I enjoyed the film for what it was. I was intrigued by the Iron Man character, especially the way it was portrayed in the Avengers movie.
Okay.
With the offset of Loki.
Right, okay, yeah.
And that dynamic was good.
Mm-hmm.
And the way, I enjoyed that, and that intrigued me. But, if anything, just based off the trailer, the Deadpool thing made me think, I might want to read it. Because it's the whole fourth wall thing we made with Deadpool. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It just adds another layer to the character.
Yeah, because I think your first introduction to Deadpool with me, I think it was me and Rob playing the Marvel vs. Capcom game with the bang, 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 one of his special moves, just shooting the guy a ton of times while saying bang.
Yeah. And then you explain the character to me, and I was intrigued.
He's the guy who knows he's in a comic book and everything. But the fourth wall humour, it's everywhere with Deadpool. In that game, one of his special moves is he picks up his health bar and smacks his opponent across the head with it.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's my sort of humour.
I like fourth wall humour when, even if it is just headcanon, the way some characters are portrayed in things, you'd believe it if it came out that this person knows they're in a TV show or a comic book or whatever.
It'd be like the Joker turning around. It'd be like there being a scene in a Batman movie, the Joker turning around and saying, "Fucking hell, why are they trying to do this? It takes ages every morning." Putting the face paint on.
Yeah.
It'd be that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a Batman movie done like that.
Or just a completely tongue-in-cheek fourth wall break, you know.
Yeah. No, rather than showing Batman going in and out the suit, the Joker in and out the face paint.
in the Burton Batman, his face was burnt with acid and everything, so his natural face was white, so he had to put makeup on to hide it.
Yeah.
He's in a board meeting as Jack Napier. He's still got the grin because his nerves have been shattered.
Yeah.
And he kills a guy at the meeting. He puts a hanky out of his pocket that's wiping his head and the white's underneath.
Yeah.
It's just reapplying or unapplying his makeup to get the Joker face out of it. It's like, that's pretty cool to actually see that.
Yeah.
So he can blend into to normality in the normal life and then wash his face and he's the Joker again.
Yeah. That sort of stuff is...
I mentioned Red vs. Blue before, obviously.
You do every episode.
In some way, shape or form, yeah, at least Rooster Teeth, but...
We are not sponsored by Rooster Teeth in any way.
No, I wish.
Yeah.
But Joel Heyman, the guy who plays Caboose in Red vs. Blue, how he interpreted the character, he knows he's in a video game.
Yeah.
So, while everyone else thinks Caboose is dumb, Caboose knows it doesn't matter because it's all just a video game. So eventually, he'll just respawn or game over or whatever. So it really doesn't matter. I saw a good thing on, I think it was a thing from DeviantArt or something. Basically, the space between the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So all the people who know they're in fictional and they all hang out together, and Caboose was in there, and Deadpool was in there, fucking Pinkie Pie was in there. I was like, that's a fucking trifecta for me right there. I won't go down that road for you, but
you just get the impression that at superhero school, Deadpool was the one smoking behind the bike shed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the impression it gives.
He was drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He bumped that. If Deadpool was the college equivalent of me and Nick Hayes.
Yeah.
Should be in physics, he's up the bay horse having a pint.
yeah, exactly. Because it doesn't matter. It's all a comic book anyway.
Yeah.
I've told you. I believe.
An Iron Man was Riggy.
Yeah.
Sat in a chemistry class drinking whiskey.
There's a great thing in one of the Deadpool comics I read. It was a Spider-Man team-up. I put it in inverted commas because Spider-Man didn't want to team up with him. The reason being is I'm not teaming up, you kill people. And it's like, I kill people? I haven't killed anyone since... Wait, when did I fight the shark? And his brain's like, issue 14. The issue 14, not 3 months ago, issue 14. And like, yeah, and that was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Even Spidey hasn't even heard issue 14.
Yeah.
As far as Spider-Man's gone, it's like, I haven't killed anyone since... When was the shark? Yeah! And that was 3 months ago. So things like that, and Spider-Man's confused. There's a great one. I think we'll get off comic books at some point. But Deadpool got sent back in time to the 60s in the village or Queens, wherever it was. But basically, he was Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And the comic used the original art from a particular issue of Spider-Man. But Wade, Deadpool, doesn't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so he's just he's a Spider-Man and just some guy under the mask. I don't know who the guy under the mask is. But all of Spider-Man and Peter Parker's dialogue is replaced with Deadpool. So Aunt May's shouting from downstairs. It was like, Peter, you want some wheat cakes? What the hell are wheat cakes? And he tried shaving, cut his face shaving, whatever. Goes downstairs to see speaking to Aunt May. He's like, yeah, don't mind the face. I think I just cut myself shaving. I think I'm going through puberty. I'm not sure how old I am. I was like, what? And he's playing he's playing two girls like Mary Jane and Emma Watson. What the fuck's he call her?
How the hell did you get Emma Watson?
Yeah, I can't remember her name. It's Mary Jane Watson. That's what I'm thinking of.
You went back to Harry Potter all of a sudden.
Yeah. What the fuck is her name? Oh, it's going to bug me. Who's the blonde lass in Spider-Man?
We'll put it down there. Carry on.
But he's playing those two off against each other.
Yeah.
Like a school dance or whatever. Because it's a great. Deadpool is such a great character. I'm so glad he's finally getting a movie. Even like the trailer when he's going for the surgery. Just don't make the super suit green. Or animated! Because in the Green Lantern movie, when Ryan Reynolds played the Green Lantern, he wasn't even wearing the suit, he was animated over him and it looked like turd.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, the fourth wall thing. He's acknowledging other movies he was in, he's acknowledging and bashing the Green Lantern movie. Yeah. That's what Deadpool needs to be.
Yeah.
That's a good interpretation of a comic book character. Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine, that's how you do a wrong interpretation of someone. Deadpool's nickname is the Merc with the Mouth. Alright? He's a smart ass. In Wolverine, X-Men Origins, he sewed his mouth shut.
Yeah.
He had Cyclops' laser eyes.
It's like, are you fucking high?
Yeah. the one thing that everyone knows about Deadpool, if they know who Deadpool is he's a smart ass. He sewed his mouth shut for the big fight with Wolverine. He should have been quick left and right. But no, and he's got Cyclops' laser eye thing. Never had that. Basically, he was a mishmash of superhero powers. So he had Wolverine's claws. He had, obviously already had the healing factor from Weapon X. I think he had the bone claws. I can't remember. The movie's awful. Cyclops' lasers, and a whole mess of other stuff, and it was just ridiculous. So thankfully, they're getting it right. Apparently, in the original draft for the Deadpool movie. The first 5 minutes was him berating Fox for his portrayal in the Wolverine movie, and basically turning the camera, this is how you do a Deadpool movie, and then roll credits.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they did with the video game as well. I'll show you how to do a fucking video game. Into the game. And even in the video game there's fourth wall stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, he goes into a room and all the graphics go all shitty and like 8-bit from like the Nintendo era, and he calls up the developer of the game. Like, yeah, I was just going through my game and I noticed some shit was fucked up. What's the deal? Well, we ran out of budget, you blew it all on the explosions. Fix it.
Oh, that's it. And I think that, if any, because I said, I'll hold my hands up now, because you know me, never a comic book fan, but Deadpool, finally, sold, I'm all it. Maybe there is a comic for everybody.
Exactly.
I'm a Deadpool convert.
There we go.
There we go. You finally made me admit it. I will read a comic as long as it's got a guy who goes bang 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 in it.
There's some others that you might quite enjoy. If you enjoy Deadpool, there's some others you might quite like. I'll talk to you about them at another time when I know a bit more about them as well. Other thing I wanted to bring up, just quickly before we wrap up, because we've talked about Deadpool, a movie we're looking forward to. The other movie we're looking forward to being Laser Team.
Yes.
Had its premiere recently in Austin, Texas, down at Fantastic Fest. So it should be getting a wide release soon. The guys, the powers that be at Rooster Teeth are working it out. They are doing something for the States and they're doing something for Australia. They're trying to work something out for UK and Europe when it comes to
We'll air it.
theatres. Basically, they're working on the distribution deal. If you want more details, you can go to roosterteeth.com and they'll have more details about it there. But Laser Team, it's had its premiere and it's getting fantastic reviews and I can't wait to see it. As a member of the Rooster Teeth community for a good number of years now, Gavin described it, had the best description for it on the podcast. It's not Rooster Teeth the movie, it's the Rooster Teeth movie.
Yeah.
You know, so if you watch it, you can watch it without being a fan of Rooster Teeth stuff and enjoy it. But if you are a Rooster Teeth fan, there'll be stuff in there that
There's inside jokes, in other words.
Yeah, but they don't stand out. It's like the comic book thing, I was going to mention it. During Iron Man, right, you enjoyed Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie, there's stuff in there that if you haven't read the comics, you won't even notice. But if you read the comics, it's a little extra for you. Like when Iron Man and Ironmonger are fighting in the end fight scene, there's a sign in the background for Roxxon Corporation. That's one of Iron Man's big rivals from like the 80s or the 70s or something. Again, it's one of those little, just little something for the fans who are like, that's a nice little touch there.
Yeah.
I've never read an Iron Man comic, I just see it's a sign for a company. So it's not just Stark Tech everywhere. You know, there's other companies in this world. Cool.
Yeah. And like you said about it's like
I don't watch the Rooster Teeth stuff, but I saw the trailer for Laser Team. It's like I want to watch that.
Yeah.
That looks fun as fuck. That looks really good.
And the thing it literally boils down if, like cameos or something. It's like if you're not a fan of Rooster Teeth, it's just a scientist. But if you're a fan of Rooster Teeth, there's Gus. You know, there's Barbara. There's Ed from the Bare Naked Ladies. I don't think he's in it, but you know that kind of thing. So yeah, it's nothing jarring. It's not like they're going to drop a line from Red versus Blue and...
It's not like us where we'll go yada 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 Shawn Michaels!
Yeah. Exactly. We're not just crowbarring shit in.
Yeah.
It works as a flowing narrative. So it's not Rooster Teeth the movie, it's the Rooster Teeth movie and I can't fucking wait. It's going to be awesome. Should we wrap it up?
Yes.
Unless there was something else you wanted to bring up?
Well, I need the lavatory and I've got to drink the bottle of Flex paint.
Yeah, and I need to go to bed anyway because I start work tomorrow.
Woo!
Yeah, so... Thank you very much for joining us. Again, check out our sponsors. Once again, the Pressure Valve events, the link in the description. Find them on Facebook. Thank you very much to Phil Ramsey. And thank you everyone for watching. Ta-ra!